Sapoops, politics should stop at the water's edge. These are the words that were written by the Singapore's PAP right after Pritam Singh had a nice interview on Keluar Sekejap. And let's be real, a lot of people criticized the PAP. They said, y'all were overreacting. But it looks like things have just come full circle. After the end of the elections in Singapore, and now we must ask, why is a Singaporean now interfering in Malaysia's domestic affairs? Sapoops, go on Facebook right now and you will see that there is a viral Facebook post from a certain Noor Deros that reads, "An open letter to DAP and those who think like it from a Malay." It is one of those long rambling posts filled with dakwah that was not requested for. But if you know anything about Singapore politics and you were paying attention to the general elections last year, you should recognize this name. First and foremost, Noor Deros is Singaporean. He's not Malaysian, he is Singaporean. And he is commenting on a Malaysian political party. Now, why do we know this? We know this because sometime last year, Mr. Noor went out and basically started commenting on the Singapore general election. But not just that. He even released this full-on manifesto asking for certain specific things to happen. And he also met with the Workers' Party's Malay candidates, making so-called demand to the political parties and encouraging them, hey, support this, and somehow or another you will represent the Muslim community. Oh, and by the way, the CNA report identifies the guy as a Singaporean Islamic religious teacher, which MediaCorp found inaccurate enough that they decided to release an article because apparently the Asatiza Recognition Board said, hey, this guy is not actually an Islamic preacher, he can't do this in Singapore. I guess that's why he's doing it in Malaysia, where he's what we might call a so-called LDH, loser back home. Ouch. You know, when I first heard about this guy and saw his aspirations, demands and offers, I was actually so disgusted. Because it's like, you're literally living in Malaysia and then you're criticizing your home society, shielding yourself under the so-called religious privilege offered by Malaysia as a society while you are writing your garbage. And I actually went and researched, I debated, argued. You can actually see in the comments right here every single thing that I said along the way. I came to understand Singapore society a lot more. Even reading things like Lily Zubaida Rahim's Singapore Dilemma, to the point that I understood every single one of the points that this guy was making in commenting on Singapore society. Claiming allegedly, oh, this needs to happen, we are so oppressed. While by the way, nursing his friendships with people like a certain Sukri Omar and also by the way, the ISA detainee now. But you know, all of that was immaterial. Losers hang out with losers. It's perfectly understandable. And if the Singapore government wants to take action on them, then by all means. Clearly, the Singapore government wasn't having it though, because K. Shanmugam, the current coordinating minister for national security in Singapore, and also my favorite Singapore minister, went ahead and made a long ministerial statement on race and religion. I think it's definitely worth reading and you can go ahead and read it. It's a pretty compelling and also comprehensive piece. Now, I think that everybody should read. Even Lawrence Wong came out to make a statement right in the middle of the general elections because of how urgent this issue is and how dangerous it is for Singapore as a society to actually have gaslighters like this casually involve themselves in just trying to influence Muslims to support Muslims in Singapore and at the end of the day, destroying that society. And what can we get from this? That the Singapore government they acted super fast. It was just snap fingers, done. And they did the right thing because it is absolutely just that urgent. Inspired by them, by the way, I immediately took action. I immediately filed an MCMC report, which you can follow up on by going to aduan.mcmc.gov.my and you can follow the instructions here to make a report. And I also sent an email directly to Fahmi Fadzil, our Minister of Communications, as well as his deputy, Teo Nia Ching. Cause why? Cause I think it's kind of obvious that we cannot have a Singaporean go out there and then try to intervene in Malaysian society by trying to advocate or agitate against DAP, because that is not your place. You are not even part of our society. You can live in Malaysia, you can marry Malaysians, whatever, right? But you still have that Singapore citizenship. And if you don't have a Singapore citizenship anymore, then fine. Then we can ask the Singapore government why they haven't stripped you of your citizenship. But if you have a Singapore citizenship and you're still in Malaysia just yapping about Malaysia and interfering in Malaysian society while trying to destabilize our government, then I just have to ask, why are you maintaining your Singapore citizenship? Is Malaysia not good enough for you? You want to so-called speak up as a Muslim while just gaslighting us along the way? Ha, really? Because as far as I'm concerned, that is a no-go. That's not acceptable. It never has been acceptable and it never will be acceptable. We already have enough religious gaslighters in Malaysia and we don't need another one from Singapore to casually give us your drivel along the way. Oh yeah, interesting fact, I also got threatened by this Noor Hassan Bai that apparently thinks that this foreign intervention specialist is somehow representing the Muslims of this country, which I found to be very interesting. He literally went and took my picture featuring my friends and he went and reposted it, which is I don't know if soldiers from Angkatan Tentera Malaysia are supposed to be doing that, but I reported the matter to our deputy minister. But if anyone happens to know this person, please go ahead and contact them and also report them as necessary and relevant. So poops, if you agree with any of this, I encourage you to go ahead and make a report to MCMC, to any relevant agencies that you think could help in resolving this problem, and to Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, to YB Fahmi Fadzil, YB Teo, to the PDRM, MCMC, and everybody else that I can encourage along the way, including Wisma Putra, by the way. Please take action. This person obviously wants to destabilize Malaysia as a society. He should not be doing so as a Singapore citizen. And if you're not going to be taking action, then I really have to ask why. Are you swayed by your religious inclination to the point that you are vulnerable to penunggang agamas? I mean, we knew that this country was already vulnerable, but is there a reason that we should be vulnerable to penunggang agamas from another country living here, hiding here, benefiting from our society? I think that the answer is no. And if you agree, so poops, give this video a thumbs up, share it with a friend, share it now, and let's reject this foreign influence from our society. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. That's all to say about that, and bye.